Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second PSU guidance and preparation class. So today we are going to be live with Gajendra sir, and he will throw some light on how you will prepare for PSUs and how will you uh, try for the prepare for the interviews. Okay, he will guide you some insights and he will give you some more details on that. So before uh, we will start, I formally welcome Gajendra sir. So he already joined us. Okay. So Gajen, as you all know, Gajendra sir is currently working as assistant manager. Okay. So he is placed in National Load Dispatch Center and New Delhi, and he is currently working in POSCO, that is Power System Operation Corporation Limited. Okay. So, sir, will you guide you on how to prepare for PSUs and how to get better insights on which book to study, which material to study, and how will you convey. So, Gajan sir, I will not waste so much of your time, and can we start?
Yes, thanks a lot for the introduction and
Thank you so much, sir.
good evening everyone. I hope you all are doing well in this corona crisis and without wasting much time, I would like this session to be a dialogue so that the students here they will quickly understand how will be they able to go ahead with the interview, what will be the strategy and what are the questions and some doubts that they will be having about getting into a PSU or opting for a good law college. There may be people who might be confused whether to join PSU, whether to go for a good law college, or some might also be preparing for judiciary as well. So I think this session should be a dialogue conversation, not just from my side, but from the students as well. So anyone can start and have their queries, and I will try to answer them.
Sir, first query is mine. Okay. So, first, tell me the like how the student will face, which like how they will prepare for PSU. Which books they will follow for that learning for the PSUs.
That's a good question. I would like to inform everyone that there is no specific to prepare for PSU's interview. What we need to understand that the interview for every PSU it varies. You need to understand which PSU asks which kind of questions. Suppose if a PSU is engaged in the business of electricity, then the study material will vary. If the PSU is working in some other sector, suppose oil sector, then the questions will vary. How and why it will vary? That's because of the nature of the work. I will let you know by a simple example. Suppose I am working in power system operation. Someone is coming to my organization to join me. What will be the probable questions that any faculty will ask? The first thing they will try to understand that whether the candidate knows about the organization, what are the functional areas of my organization, have the candidate the basics of that. So when it comes to interview of an PSU, the first thing you need to understand is try to understand where the organization performs, what are its functions, what are its core business areas. Accordingly, the laws change. The laws that are applicable in a particular organization, you need to cover that. The basic HR questions that are similar in almost every organization, but the hardcore laws, it varies from PSU to PSU. When you go to ONGC, more and more questions will be asked about the contract and land acquisition because they have disputes related to them. So it's very important to understand the functioning of the organization and the core areas of work. That's very critical.
Sir,
Um,
okay. So, many people ask that, uh, what are the criteria on which PSU select a person?
all right. So all these people they have given CLAT and they might be knowing that PSUs call upon the number of vacancies. That is, if there is one seat, then they will call five times, multiple of five times. If there is a one seat, they will call five people for the interview. If there are five seats, they will call five into five. That's 25. So first thing you need to keep in mind is that you need to get on the merit of the client. If you don't qualify in the merit of the client, the chances of your getting interview call for PSU keeps decreasing. So it depends every year because sometimes two, three organizations come. Sometimes last year it happened that there was only one or hardly two PSUs that recruited. So it depends upon the number of vacancies that come every year. And then, of course, there is a factor of category. It depends upon category. Sometimes uh, SC, ST category, they will be having only one or two seats. And for general category, they will be having around five seats. So it depends upon the number of vacancies that are there. And if
Sir,
you qualify in the merit, then obviously you will get the call. So, and in that also, suppose five seats are there and they have to call 25 people. Some people who have not opted for the interview position, they might not have applied, they might be having some other plans. So in that case, the call goes to the latter candidate. So that's how the interviews are being called.
okay. Sir, when did you prepare about the PSUs? So, which book did you refer for learning for the PSUs? Which books recommend to the students who are appearing for the PSU interviews?
As earlier I have also mentioned that there is no such specific book. What you need is you need to cover the basic concepts of law, the basic functional areas of the organization, and the laws which can be applicable. The main laws which you need to cover are this will be irrespective of the organization. I am giving a general overview of the laws which might be asked. These will be the basics of constitutional law. Then you will be asked some questions about contract. You will be asked questions about labor laws. Labor laws are because these public sector undertakings they are working in the industrial sector, most of them. So the labor laws are very important and that needs to be covered. They will start with basic HR questions, then they will shift to constitutional law. They will ask some questions about contract, then they will ask some questions about labor laws, and this way it goes on.
Sir, some people are asking that, whenever you face an interview of PSUs, uh, what they will be focusing on a specialization or special subject matter, like what they have, like few PSUs take fresher students. So how will they criteria make that to judge the freshers?
All right. Uh, as I'm getting from your question, you are asking about how the freshers can get into the interview and how they will try to select their fields.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let me be very clear that the PSUs, they don't ask they don't ask generally that to which specialization you belong, but they will ask you about your area of interest. What's your area of interest of law? Which law you hold a good grip? So they will start asking questions from them. But one key thing to understand is that when you are going for an interview of an organization, you can't say that I don't like company law, or I don't have a grip on any of the laws which are applicable to that organization. It will give a negative impact on the mind of the recruiter. So you just need to be aware that you don't get any area of interest that is exactly opposite of that organization. Suppose you are going for an interview and you tell the people that you love the criminal law. No PSU is currently working in the criminal proceedings of criminal law. So that will be exactly opposite of what the recruiter needs. So the students need to be careful about this.
Okay. So, sir, can you brief us some about like what type of questions they can ask from a student who is like from a recent background or recently graduated? So, what type of questions they might face from a PSU?
Yes, I will give you few examples about the questions that can be asked. If you go in ONGC, they will ask you questions about land acquisition matters, and not they will not go into the technicalities. They will just try to grasp that whether you have the basic concept of law or not. They will not go into the depth. So there is a myth that you need to understand the legislations and laws into the depth to crack the PSU interview. That's not the real fact. Let me be very clear. They simply try to judge that the candidate has the basic concepts of law, but it may vary according to the organization. When I went for interview in Kosovo, they started asking me questions about the Electricity Act. No one in their law school have hardly gone into the Electricity Act. But what they asked me is, tell me about the arbitration clause of the Electricity Act. Tell me about how and where, what are the statutory bodies that are established under the act. So the questions which will be put up on the candidate are the basic questions. If you ask the questions from constitution, they will ask about what's the difference between article 32 and 226. So they're just trying to know that whether your concepts are clear or not. Then they will start asking you what are the difference between fundamental rights and fundamental duties. You expect the law students to know these answers. So that's what they try to evaluate from the interview.
Okay, so they are not trying to get a deep dive in the concepts. So they will just try to get. Okay, so we get a question that if we don't know the correct answer of the asked question in the interview, then how can I handle that situation?
Yes. So let's see if a question has been put on and you don't know the answer. You just try to avoid answering it without any information. If you answer it blindly, your impact is going to be negative. You don't have to answer it. You just tell them and you apologize that sorry, I do not have the information pertaining to this, and then they will start asking you the next question. But if you start answering without having the knowledge, then it will create a negative impact. So you just have to be smart there. You just try to identify that whether I know this answer or not. Don't try to cheat them or trick them, because they know a lot. They are the panel who has a lot of experience in the sector. So just try to avoid it.
Okay, guys, we have now opened the discussion. You can put questions in the chat box. Okay, we get a question like, what is the ratio of CLAT marks and interview for a PSU?
Uh, I will tell you it varies every year because in 2018 the merit was a bit low. So the people who got interview call have in the general category they have marks around 100 out of 150. The last candidate, if I talk about. When you go back 2 3 years more, the candidate who got the call was having around 115 to 120 marks. So it depends upon the merit. It depends upon the merit plus the number of vacancies the organizations have.
Okay, sir. One more question we get that do you have any information about any PSU which might soon come up with vacancies for CLAT?
Uh, I will be having a knowledge of Power Grid Corporation because Power Grid, we are in touch with the law officers of Power Grid also. So they are letting us know that they are in process. And ONGC, you can expect ONGC to come after every 2 3 years. IOCL just recruited last year, so it's difficult that they will come this year. NTPC, I think NTPC and NHPC is going to recruit.
Okay, sir. How long time interview generally continues?
This also depends upon the candidate. This depends upon candidate and the panel. Suppose you start debating about some general issues or some laws. Sometimes it goes around 40 45 minutes. Some candidates they just come out within 10 15 minutes. But it doesn't matter. The average time is around 15 to 20 minutes if the interview is going really good.
Okay. So, sir, next question is which rank can a general candidate expect a call from PSUs? Till which rank?
I have told earlier also that it depends upon the number of vacancies. Suppose if there are 10 vacancies, so the call will be given to the candidate who is ranked 50. But this varies because some people do not want to go into the PSU, so they don't apply. If they don't apply, the next candidate will get the interview call. So that's how the chances are. So it will depend on it's a straightforward formula. 1:5. If there is a one seat, then the interview call will go to the people till fifth rank, and then you increase it with the vacancies.
Sir, a question is like, what will be the ratio or what will be the weightage of interview or weightage of the CLAT marks? If a student scored like 73 in CLAT out of 120, so what will be the weightage of that he mark that he obtained in CLAT 2020 and about the interview? So what will be the ratio like 60-40, 50-50, 40-30, 40-70 or 60? Sorry.
This also depends upon the PSU. Generally, ONGC has this application of 60 is to 40. That is, 60 is your CLAT score and 40 is for GD and interview. And for PSUs like Powergrid, they divide it into the ratio of 85 is to 15. 85% will be the CLAT score and 15% will be the GD and interview. So that's how it depends upon the PSUs. But mostly ONGC keeps it to 60-40, Powergrid keeps it to 85-15, NHPC, NTPC also keeps it to 85-15. So that's how it goes on.
Okay. Sir, can you give some tips like how our students can be stand out in an interview from others? Some tips on that.
The when you talk about the law students, almost the merit holders of CLAT, they all are good enough to crack the interview. But what needs to be kept in mind is that when you go for an interview, be confident. Don't try to identify and answer the questions which you don't know. So avoid making your impression negative. Do not start to debate in a way that it looks like you are fighting with them, and try to establish connection with the interview panel. Try to answer them humbly. If you don't know the answer, just skip it and ask them that I don't know. Just accept the fact that I don't know some questions. It's a general human tendency. Everyone cannot know each and everything. So try to answer with confidence and try to cover the core areas and the basic concepts of law.
Okay. So someone asked that, okay, sir, if there are four vacancies for general and three are for OBC, so they will call 5 into 4 20 ranks of generals and 3 into 5 of OBCs. So if they will calculate on this thing, or no differentiation between the quota seats and general seats when they're calling.
No, no, no. They call out people exactly upon the number of recruitment in that specific category. Suppose if general category has three students, three vacancies. Suppose they have three vacancies, so they will call 3 into 5, 15 for general. The OBC category will be different, and they will call out the rank holders of that specific category. Suppose there are seats, 5 seats for OBC. So then they will call out 5 into 5 candidates of OBC category. So it's a clear cut division of the criteria. That is the castes and the categories they have mentioned.
Someone asked, sir, any idea about the NHPC ratio for interview and marks?
NHPC also till last year they are keeping it to 85-15.
Okay.
85% marks of the CLAT and 15% of GD and interview. And one more thing I will like to highlight that out of 15, 12 marks will be for interview and 3 will be for GD. That
Okay.
is the group discussion.
Sir, can you give some light on like what type of the topics they will cover during a group discussion?
Yes, that's a good question. For the general discussion, that is the group discussion, they will give you the topics which are in news recently. So try to cover the current affairs, and in current affairs also you need to specific about the legal topics. Don't go into all types of current affairs. If you are just reading the articles for the purpose of GD, suppose recently last judgment, you have to look, you have to cover the judgments also. That this is one also important thing I forget to mention about it. Try to cover all the latest judgments, so the topics will roam around the judgments of the court, the landmark judgments which the Supreme Court or various high courts of our country provides.
Sir, is Coal India or SAIL uh, also recruit through the CLAT PG?
Yes, exactly. Coal India and SAIL also recruit through CLAT PG, but from 2-3 years they have not recruited. They might not be having vacancies currently, but they recruit.
Okay. So, sir, can you give us some light about how is the life in a PSU?
Um, there are lots of pros about working in a PSU, and mostly all of the candidates they will be knowing about the perks of being working in a PSU. The first thing is the financial stability. Financial stability. How financial stability also they provide in every aspect. They will provide you a handsome salary. They will provide you soft loans. They will provide you allowances and perks. They will provide you house building advance of about 60 lakhs. All the central public sector undertakings, they will provide you 60 lakhs for building your own house with a simple interest of around just 7%. They will provide you additional facilities like car loan. They will provide you conveyance. They will provide you multiple allowances. Second thing, the work atmosphere. The work atmosphere in almost all the PSU, it's really nice. There is no cutthroat deadline to work. That's the best part. You can be very cool and calm, and still you can work there. Plus, work-life balance. The best part of working in a PSU is a work-life balance. You will be working like just 9 to 5 for 5 days. You will be having your weekends. You can thrive for your passion. You can join anything you want to. You can spend your weekends where you want. You can have a lot of time with your family. So that's another factor. Then there is a stability. Most of these undertakings, they are very crucial for the government. So you have a job stability, you have a good pay scale, you will have all the facilities, plus you will be posted in definitely a good place. So there are lots of pros for working in a place.
Sir, an interesting question came up. Why did you choose PSU over judiciary? Why didn't you go for
Yeah,
judiciary?
yeah, that's really a nice and great question. Most of the people, they are confused about whether to go in a PSU or a judiciary. See, if you try to compare both of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. First, if you compare PSU with judiciary, the working hours. In PSU, you are just working for 5 days in a week, and that too just 9 to 5, and you don't have to put in so much effort to work there as compared to judicial. When you go for a judicial service, you have to spend your entire day sitting at just one place, and you will at some point of time you will be just thinking that what I am doing, just sitting at this place doing some justice for others, where is my life? You will feel that at some point of time, but it depends upon candidate. Some people want that they want to be a judge, they want to give justice to the people, they want to be in the court, they have the passion for the black and white. So it depends upon candidate. Both have their own pros and cons. I can't say that this is better or this is better. In judiciary, you have power, you have prestige, you have that a social framework of that a judge is a judge, have some special reputation, have a special status in the society. But when you work in a PSU, things go different. Not everyone among the society knows that a PSU has this role, what are their functions. They are also important to the nation, and they are also doing social service. They are also working for the government. So that's depends upon candidate.
Sir, one question like Apurva asked that uh, NHPC ratio. Okay, so Apurva, I will answer this question. They didn't mention specifically for NHPC ratio. They had just given that for a unreserved category, they will choose only people who will have 40% marks at least in CLAT. Okay, and for reserved category, it is 30%. So they will have to clarify on that part. Okay, so okay, sir, there is one question on that segment only. That what are the procedure? What is the level of transfer and promotion in a PSU sector?
So that these central public sector undertakings, they have a uniform procedure for promotions and increments. There is a fixed grade pay, and there is a lot of transparency because it is handled by Department of Public Enterprises. So after every 3 or 4 years, there will be promotion, and the increment is annually. So there is a lot of transparency in promotions in a PSU, especially central public sector undertakings.
Sir, another question is like, sir, do PSUs provide overseas posting?
Yes, definitely, definitely. IOCL, ONGC, they have their onshore and offshore units. They have their locations, job locations abroad. So that's a very, very, very good advantage of being in a PSU. You can be, you can be put somewhere at some time to that location for a specific period of time. So yeah, they also have overseas posting. Plus one more thing, the PSUs also send you for training sessions abroad. So it's also a pro of being in a PSU. You can go and have your foreign trip on the expenses of the government of PSU.
Sir, one question I was asking, like, कि what is a PRP, like performance related pay? So such kind of incentive in the PSUs for you, or what kind of this?
Yes, yes, it's a profit related pay, and also it is also the same thing, the performance linked incentive. It's, you will not even imagine that in power sector the amount of PRP is almost equivalent to the amount of pay scale, the salary the people are getting. So if a person is having a pay scale of around 24-25 lakhs, so he will be getting almost 20-22 lakhs as PRP. But this depends on organization.
In a
A
year?
central, yeah, in a year. That's how the PRP goes on. But it depends upon the profit or your organization, the rating of the specific PSU, which is provided by the Department of Public Enterprises. In Power Grid, people get such amount of PRP equivalent to their salary per annual salary.
Oh, sir, one question in like for that, if a people working in PSU, so can he or she also prepare for the judicial services while working in a PSU?
Always, always. Judiciary is always open for everyone, and a candidate working in a PSU, he or she can also thrive for his or her passion. If she wants, or if he wants to go into the judiciary, he will be having a bit less time, but he can definitely prepare for PSU. And there are number of people who have shifted from PSU to judiciary. It depends upon the candidate.
Okay, sir, can you suggest some subject specialization on which students can focus while preparing for the PSU interview? Any subject specialization?
Um, there is no specific requirement for specialization, but as I mentioned, you need to cover the core laws pertaining to that specific organization. Try to cover the basics, try to cover the subject. Suppose I have also mentioned earlier that there is no specific specialization required. ONGC at times, what they do, they give additional marks for your masters, and that masters will give you an advantage of around 5 marks. So as such, there is no requirement of specialization for these interviews.
Okay, sir, one more thing, like this year or before this year, like in 2019, CLAT changes their pattern. Okay, for ALM specifically. So it will be like from MCQs based to comprehension based, and now they are like in the case based only. So it will also impact on PSU interviews. So they will go for subjective questions, or they will go for the case based questions.
This will not impact the PSU interviews, but this will definitely impact the merit of the CLAT, because the interview panel, they just come out with their own questions. They don't go into the exam pattern of CLAT or the exam questions of CLAT, so it does not impact it.
Apart from law, what type of questions can a uh, aspirant or a student can face during the interview, apart from the law or law related?
Apart from law, you can be asked questions about the current affairs, the latest court judgments. You can be asked general questions like what are your strengths and weaknesses? How can you contribute to this organization? There can be some additional HR questions. They will start asking you, just let me know or give me a brief introduction about you, which is not there in your CV. So these time of tricky questions they might ask sometimes. But
Uh,
one very important thing, try to cover the daily news, try to have a grip on current affairs, and try to have a knowledge of all the latest landmark court judgments.
Sir, do PSU allows a candidate to go for litigations uh, on behalf of PSU?
Yes, definitely. You can go and argue the cases on behalf of that specific PSU. You
Okay.
can make court appearances. There are a lot of lawyers and advocates engaged on behalf of PSU, but if you are capable enough and you are capable enough to tell your management that, look, I have the potential and I have the capability to argue on behalf of PSU in this specific case, then you can obviously go for it.
Sir, one last question from our side. Like, if a person is intent to join a PSU, okay, and also he or she wants to go for LLM, so what will PSU will do? Like, they will allow them to go for LLM, or they will not allow them for go for LLMs?
Actually, that's really nice question. This happened with me also. There was no one to guide me, so I have to leave my LLM from third trimester in NLSIU, and I joined here in Kosovo. Lot of PSUs they are flexible about giving you the time for study, but when it comes to probation period, they will not allow. They have a policy of allowing the people to study further after the probation period ends. One thing the candidate can do, they can join the college, and then when they are selected for the particular PSU, they can ask that specific PSU to provide extension for joining. There is a provision for extension in joining. So suppose if you qualify and you get selected in some PSU, just talk to their HR and ask that, look, I have 1 or 2 trimesters left. I will complete my LLM and then join. That's the best thing one can do.
Okay, sir, in the current situation of Corona, few students didn't get their like documents, complete mark sheets and all certificates. So, if a person got selected in PSU and he or she didn't have the documents, so the PSU will allow him to join, or they will allow him to submit the documents later after joining.
Yes, definitely they will allow. You just have to provide an undertaking that my this document is pending for this specific reason, and they will take that undertaking from you and will allow you.
Okay, so how long will take them to call a candidate? Okay, for like in this year only, only till now, only NHPC and like you said, the Power Grid and ONGC also is preparing for them. So what will they how long will it take them to call a candidate?
Uh, this also depends upon PSU. What happened when I was recruited? ONGC they start recruitment early, but Power System Operation they notified their vacancy in November and December. So these vacancies will come through the period of time, it will come like around 4 to 5, 6 months later on also. So
So
it's not fixed. It depends upon the vacancies.
on that ground, sir, what's your personal suggestions for the candidate? Should they start their ALM to be continued, or should they will go for the ALM, or they will wait for the call?
Definitely, I will suggest you people to go for LLM and start your studies there. Once you get the interview call, you then start preparing for it, and definitely you can crack it. You people are really genius.
Sir, as you said that you have to leave analyze IU in your
Yes,
third trimester.
yes,
So
exactly. Because I don't have this knowledge that they have this policy of extension. No one was there to guide me. So that's why I'm telling you people, go and join there and talk to your HR when recruited that I want to complete my studies, and they will definitely help you.
okay, I hope Winnie will get her answer. Okay, so one more thing, sir. Like, if a person who is already who completed LM and he or she, many repeaters also give CLAT for PSU
Yes,
selections only.
yes,
So, what are the career options they will have left if they didn't get any PSU?
all right. So it's like you was preparing for this PSU interviews and you did not go through it. Yeah, that's the question if I'm correct.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a legal profession. It's there are number of possibilities. You can go for litigation, you can go for judiciary, and you have that vast opportunity of going for masters, completing your masters, and then start teaching, go into that profession.
Okay. So, someone asked that, sir, what was your CLAT rank?
All right, uh, that's also um, well. It'd be good to disclose here. Hello,
Yes, sir.
what was it? Platform you were selecting? Okay, yes. Hello,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes. Okay,
So,
my CLAT rank was 104 and my category rank was 3.
okay. So that based on your category and your CLAT rank, you will
Yes,
get selected in the
yes,
PSU. Okay.
yes,
So thank you so much, sir. And I think no one have any other questions. Okay. So if anyone have any questions, they can directly ping us. Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time and valuable insights on PSU interviews and
yes.
guidance. Thank you once again, sir.
Thanks a lot.